everything just turned on its head for the New York Rangers, with multiple massive reports coming out about Mika Zibanejad likely being gone from the Rangers, and a report from Elliotte Friedman about star winger JJ Peterka being available, and a link to the Rangers has come out as well. Finally, the Rangers have targeted multiple defensemen to pair with superstar Adam Fox. We have to dive into the two left-hand defensemen that have been linked to the Rangers to go with Adam Fox, the Mika Zibanejad reports, and JJ Peterka with Elliotte Friedman stuff. A ton of incredible stuff coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ, jam-packed. We're just going to get right into it, and we want to start here with the left-hand defense guys they want to bring in. Now, there's been some talks about K'Andre Miller potentially being out the door as well, but regardless, the Rangers have been linked to multiple names, Mark, and we're going to start here with Vladislav Gavrikov. This comes from Arthur Stable, The Athletic, article linked below. Rangers have interest in unrestricted free agent Vladislav Gavrikov if he hits the market on July 1st, and he's looking for a 7x7. Now, trading K'Andre Miller opens up a spot for Gavrikov, but not the requisite cap space. Now, you know, you ask some Kings fans, they'll probably say they don't want to pay him much more than 6.5. But Mark, look, Gavrikov has had a great career as a fantastic shutdown defenseman, posting a near career high 30 points this season in 82 games, just shy of his 33 points back in 22 with Columbus. A guy like Gavrikov, I think if you want to pair him with a guy like Adam Fox on your top pairing, could work very well for the Rangers. What are your thoughts on them scouring the market right now to find a true star-level player that they can pair with one of the top offensive D-men in the game?
I mean, the big thing is they need to find that guy to play with Adam Fox. It seems like a revolving door. We're seeing K'Andre Miller come in. Carson Soucy's the guy that joined this team. But this could come in as the perfect piece for this Rangers team, a shutdown defenseman to let Adam Fox play his game as a two-way star or more of an offensive star. But the big thing with this Rangers team is they need to clear up space. We've seen them do it a couple times. Trouba, the Ducks helped out. Kreider, the Ducks helped out once again. Zibanejad, maybe. But I think the big thing is moving on from Miller, you don't want to log jam, and it's not a bad log jam, but the big thing is if you keep all these left-handed defensemen and you spend all this money on your defense, the forward group's going to get a little thinner, as we already seen them move on from one of their best goal scorers in the past 10 seasons.
It's really interesting, the situation right now with Panarin's contract coming near to a close, but Lafreniere locked in for long term. You still have JT Miller, who's he's going to be around for a while, but some great young guys as well coming up, like Perreault, and even a guy like Cooley, who's potentially an offer sheet target. But again, looking at defense, Carson Soucy is not the long-term solution next to Adam Fox. And K'Andre Miller, probably not either in terms of play style. So a guy like a Gavrikov, a guy who is known to be a very solid shutdown guy. I mean, a lot of people compare him to a guy like maybe Esa Lindell or, you know, a not as good Jacob Slavin. Like, he could very well work in that role, but he's not the only guy, Mark. We got a lot to get into here. Now, coming from RG.org, article also linked down below, Rangers are considering Ivan Provorov as a candidate. He's one of their options for strengthening the defensive line. Now, Provorov is another interesting name, Mark. I feel like everywhere he's gone, fans have been like, yeah, he's solid, but not quite what I wanted, you know? Like, and I don't know why that is, but he's one of those guys, you stick out there, any situation, Ivan Provorov is going to do a decent job. No glaring weaknesses. He is an Iron Man. 82 games each of the last 3 seasons. Even putting up 33 points this year. Having a 17-goal, 41-point season way back in 2018 with the Flyers. He has offensive upside. He can play very solid defense. Another name that could very well fit next to Fox, though. It's very interesting the Rangers are targeting these late 20s guys in their prime, really trying to capitalize on what they have left right now.
I mean, Provorov is awesome. I do think the big thing with him is, though, he's a number 3 defenseman that's going to be paid like a number 2 going in. I would stay a little further away from this. I'd go as a more solidified shutdown guy. Yes, the 17 goals would fit in perfectly, but I do think him and Fox are kind of redundant next to each other. Not saying Provorov's a bad defenseman, but I do think you can get a more shutdown style guy to fit next to Fox a little more, to eat more minutes. Provorov would be awesome on the second pairing, but I do think going out, paying him like a number 2 defenseman might hurt in the long run, but I don't think it's a bad outcome if they do sign him.
Yeah, I tend to agree that I think Gavrikov is just straight up a better fit, and it makes a lot of sense the Rangers are looking at him. But again, with the cap hit he's going to demand, and some of the stuff the Rangers will have to do with their cap space to make it work and fit with Fox, it's yet to be seen, but hey, you never know. I mean, he's a guy that seems to fit very well, can help your team enter their window, or stay in their window, I should say. So it'll be very interesting to follow, but it's not just the defensemen we got to talk about today. Of course, there's a lot of stuff on their forwards coming out, and we'll jump right into Mika Zibanejad, and we'll show you this right here, coming from The Athletic, from Arthur Staple, linked down below. Again, same article as earlier, but on the subject of Mika Zibanejad, there's a chance that Drury has already worked it out with Zibanejad, who has 5 years left at 8.5 mil AAV, plus a full no-move clause, that moving on would be best. They'd still need to find a fit. The Leafs might have some interest, some space to fill, but trading Kreider's best friend soon after dealing Kreider will produce the impact on cap flexibility and team culture Drury so badly wants. So again, like you mentioned earlier, Mark, if you're looking to really maneuver your cap space right now, moving on from a guy like Zibanejad who makes $8.5 million a year, maybe bringing in some other type of forward talent, and then bringing in that shutdown defenseman with that now open cap space could work very well. Of course, Zibanejad had a down year. He had stretches this year where he was good, but he's a far cry from that 39 goal scored just 2 years ago. His points have been dropping and dropping year over year with a lot of bad stretches this year. To hear that he might very well be gone from New York is very interesting. And honestly, Mark, like the contract at this point, at his age, with his decline in performance, I feel like the Rangers might not find the kind of package that they're looking for. This is an interesting revelation here.
I mean, the big thing is we've seen him move on from his closest friend on the team. We've seen him really be upset about this, not emotionally or like on social media, but overall, you can tell this is not a situation he wants to be in. This contract's interesting. You're seeing the production. You're seeing $8.5 million for a guy that's slowly declining. Yes, a team might look at Zibanejad and say, hey, we know what he can do. We've seen him in his past. Maybe we take a flyer, but I do think there's a chance that the Rangers, like you said, are not going to get a package that they want for Zibanejad, or they might actually have to maybe attach a few things. Now, they could go out, attach a few late round first picks, and retain a tiny bit of salary, but I think this contract's going to be a little trickier than the Rangers want to move on from, and it would not shock me if he's there to start the season.
Yeah, like, and again, retaining on his cap is kind of, if the Rangers can avoid that, if you're moving on from Zibanejad, I think you really don't want to retain any if you can help it. Because again, cap flexibility at this point is something that's very important to a Rangers team that, again, has some pretty big contracts. Now, again, you have a guy like Cooley who's going to get a raise. A guy like Perreault is still on the rookie scale deal, but Lafreniere's big $7+ million contracts kicking in next year. So, and like, again, Keandre Miller needs to get paid. There's a lot of questions, right? Of course, Shesterkin is the other big one, right? The dude has one of the biggest extensions in the NHL. So moving on from Zibanejad's a very interesting idea. Let us know what you think about Zibanejad's future in New York down below. Who are some suitors? What does this mean for the Rangers? But look, again, this is jam-packed. We got through Zibanejad. We got through all the guys that were, the Rangers maybe looking to add on defense, or a forward they're looking to move out. What about a forward they're looking to bring in? Again, with some interesting talks around Will Cooley, whether he'll be paid by the Rangers or not. The Rangers have been linked to another very young RFA star winger, and that is, JJ Peterka. According to Elliot Friedman a few days ago, the Rangers seem like a team preparing to send an offer sheet. Rangers are very interested in JJ Peterka. And this isn't the first time we're hearing this either. I mean, where is the quote? There it is, from Frank Saravalli back in March, right around the deadline. Sources indicate Rangers have had advanced discussions with JJ Peterka. Let's see where it goes. It felt like it was going to happen, and then it fell through last minute. And recently, the Sabres, according to Elliot Friedman, are now listening on trading JJ Peterka. It's due to the reality. He's unhappy. He wants a change. Sabres are realizing they have to look at it. And his contract projection, Mark, we're talking somewhere around 7 by 7.5, something like that. Someone's going to pay him to put up 27 goals, 68 points on this Buffalo team in 77 games is nothing short of extraordinary. Now, he's not a great defensive player, of course, but that offensive upside, the style of play he has, I think if the Rangers want to add to the top of their lineup and they can move on from a guy like Zibanejad, a guy like Peterka is a much better fit long-term, even though he doesn't play center, but I think he could really, really work out for the Rangers.
And I mean, that's the biggest thing. You get an elite goal scorer, someone that can blossom into a star in this league. With the Rangers looking to add up front, with the Sabres looking to do their little identity change as well. Would you be shocked if maybe there's a Zibanejad, maybe Lafreniere, one of these guys going to Buffalo for Peterka? The big thing is both teams need to figure out what they're doing, what direction they're going to. The Rangers want to compete. The Sabres want to make the playoffs. But I think right now, maybe not. They might just want to just continuously get top 10 picks. But the big thing is right now, I do think there could be a situation where you see Lafreniere going up for Peterka. Now, obviously, that's not rumors or anything, speculation here. But I think it would make sense for both teams if they want to shake things up, one to get a goal scorer, one to get a project that's kind of a low risk, high reward. I don't know, Josh, am I crazy in saying that?
I mean, you know what? I hadn't thought about it, but it's not the craziest thing in the world. Again, I think Rangers fans, the Rangers organization, I should say, holds Lafreniere in high regard. I mean, your first overall pick for a 34th overall pick isn't going to look good when you look at it from that perspective. But ultimately, at the end of the day, JJ Peterka has been more productive in his career already than Lafreniere, and you can control how much Peterka gets. So it's tough to say, But again, if you want to shake up in New York, you're not sold on Lafreniere, and you bring in a guy like Peterka, who is, again, I think, in my opinion, a little more proven, though definitely not nearly as responsible on the defensive side of the puck, where I think people underrate Lafreniere. Like, we don't realize he's not that bad of a full 200-foot player, whereas someone like Peterka is. But if both teams want to shake something up, if Lafreniere is willing just to move up state and stick around there and, you know, maybe blossom in Buffalo, where Peterka moves out a guy who wants a change of scenery, it could work. But listen, leave your thoughts down below. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Rangers right now. Everything's turned on its head. And hey, we're here to keep you updated. But that'll do it for this episode of Hat Trick HQ. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning into the show every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Mark Pye. We'll catch you in the next one.